I will say this. Toronto has done absolutely everything they possibly could do to sell Kawhi on staying in Toronto. All the ways in which they have made sure that Kawhi was as healthy as possible. I know gentleman Alex McKechnie, his name has come up often. He's the director of sports performance, one of the assistant coaches with Toronto, has made Kawhi feel very comfortable in how he's been able to work the load management throughout the regular season to be ready for this postseason. And the fact that they're going to the finals, that's a huge aspect of it. The team they put around him, the relationship he has with Nick Nurse. But there's going to be a lot for Kawhi to decide once the season is over. And, Cece, I know you've had some conversations with those inside Kawhi's camp. But I think for Toronto, there's a lot of optimism coming from the organization. I'm not sure how much of that is a reflection of Kawhi and what they have heard or seen from Kawhi, or just feeling like they put their best foot forward.
Yeah, I'm sure there's other teams just like Toronto that they're optimistic. I'm sure here in New York, Scott Perry, Steve Mills, the Knicks, they're optimistic that they might get a meeting. I'm sure the Clippers, because of when Kawhi requested a trade from San Antonio, he said Los Angeles. So in doing that, the Clippers, the Lakers, there's reason to be optimistic. No one on the surface should be more optimistic than Toronto because of what he's done there. He's got the shot of the playoffs, and that being the buzzer beater Game 7 against the 76ers. And to me, he's got the dunk of the playoffs where he goes left hand and against Giannis was a spectacular play, one of the most exciting plays that we've seen. And Kawhi is focused right now just on trying to be healthy as possible, trying to get to practice. So Toronto, they should be optimistic, but they don't know. Uncle Dennis does not know. His agent, Mitch Frankel, they don't know. I talked to both of them yesterday because Kawhi has given them strict orders. This is what I'm going to be about. I'm about the next treatment session. I'm about the next practice. And I'm about trying to shock the world in game number 1. He knows he's got 4 opportunities. He wants to turn this into a long series. So I can truly tell the public, he's not like Kyrie. He don't have a wandering eye. He wasn't talking to people during the season. He's focused on the job at hand. He realized that basketball history is right there at the door. He's got an opportunity, and he's trying to take advantage of that. Toronto could not have done a better job than what they've done.
And that's where Toronto, whatever happens, Toronto has to feel like we did everything. I don't know, see, I feel like you're the first person I heard say this, so I'll give you credit for it. Control your controllables, and don't worry about the other things. Toronto did everything right. When they traded for Kawhi, they got San Antonio to include Danny Green, so he had a familiar face. They were as cautious with...
But Danny Green is a big part of it because last year when they questioned, Tony Parker made the idiotic comment that my quad was 100 times worse than what Kawhi's was. Danny Green was the one who came out and spoke and said...
Had Kawhi's back.
He said, I totally back up Kawhi.
And so from the very beginning, they have the Spurs include not just a throwaway player that's going to start with Kawhi and a player that he has familiarity with and a player that, by the way, if Kawhi didn't win the Finals MVP in 2014, could have been Danny Green. He had 27 threes in that Finals against the LeBron's Heat. So you did that. You were as cautious with him during the season as I've ever seen with a healthy player. I mean, the reason Kawhi almost didn't even make second-team All-NBA was because people said, man, he missed 22 games during the year without a clear... It's not like he missed a month with injury, of healthy scratches. During the year, you said, we're going to go even more all in on this season. You trade for Marc Gasol. It's one of the biggest additions any team made during the season. And now you have put Kawhi in a position where if the question is, where am I, let's say they fall short of a championship, where am I in best position to win a title? You can make a strong argument it's exactly where he is. So Toronto's done everything they can do, and he still might leave. He still might have just simply been very professional about this. And if, by the way, if he does leave, I will respect the way he's conducted himself this season almost even more. Not that I'll respect him more if he leaves, but if he does not want to be there and is still doing everything he's done and kept the noise so quiet compared to other players we've seen who haven't been happy where they are and do things a certain way, to me that'll be a testament to his professionalism a year after his professionalism was under attack.
Without a doubt. And Kawhi can make any decision that he wants, and he should be fully respected and supported for that. Two things stuck out to me, though, from the postgame of winning the Eastern Conference Final. One, the fact that Masai Ujiri had proclaimed that Kawhi Leonard is the best basketball player afterwards, as you would expect him to do so. Kawhi was asked about him. He said, well, Masai told me that when he brought me here. Yes. He sat me down and said, this is why we're bringing you here, because I believe you are the best basketball player in the NBA. And Kawhi was quick to say that, knowing that he had that support regardless and prior of even how he performed this season in the playoffs. Secondly, Kyle Lowry was a player who was very disappointed in the trade. Understandably so. He felt
you trade my best friend,
he felt like he lost his best friend, and he was the person that Kawhi Leonard pointed out and said, Kyle has helped me so much throughout the course of the year, getting adjusted both on the court, off the court. I go to him for questions. Kyle Lowry looked at Kawhi Leonard when asked what was the difference of you getting here. He laughed a couple times, and this is the man that did it. So I think, too, their relationship that they built is something that's very significant.
If the Raptors lose Kawhi Leonard and you're the Raptors, do you make that trade again?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
100%.
99 playoff games they played.
Even though you're going to come back next year, you have no Kawhi and no DeMar DeRozan.
99 playoff games they played in before, in the clincher in game number 6, Kawhi delivers the 27 and 17. First time in NBA history that North America is represented by a team from Canada. This is a United States game. And now we got a team from Canada. That history right there is worth it. And I know Toronto, if they have to make the trade, they're able to do it because, hindsight, it got me to where I was always trying to get to, Nick.
And, by the way, you look back on what they gave up. They didn't give up that much, and they have, as you mentioned, the greatest moment in Canadian basketball history. One other thing, it might be very small, that Toronto has going for it is, while I give Drake a hard time, they have amazing fans, and they have an amazing crowd in and outside of the arena. They've gotten fortunate in this regard. The two biggest moments have happened at home. So he hits that game winner. It wasn't game 6 to clinch the series. It was game 7. And he got to bask in that crowd. They clinched the NBA Finals berth at home. So they get that trophy presentation at home on the court, not back in a locker room. Like those are small things, but you create more memories. You create more traction, more of a reason for someone to stay. Again, nobody knows. Doesn't seem like Uncle Dennis even knows what Kawhi's going to do, but Toronto's positioned themselves as well as they possibly could have.
All right. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.